All right, Jammer, we are starting an ITC training camp. It's going to be for Adepticon next year. Our local orc war boss here, Dirtyback, is going to take the Green Tide to Adepticon and the blood shall flow. That seemed a little corn-ish, but I'm not gonna change it now. But here's we've got 2 games running simultaneously, trying to simulate a tournament environment. It's close confined. It's not loud and stinky, but hey, it's gonna be close, and we're trying to simulate a tournament as best we can in my dining room. But on table 1 here, we've got ourselves the Imperium of Man fighting some corn guys and some world eaters. It's going to be cool. We're doing just scenario 1, trying to get familiar with the ITC. We've just been playing out of the book, so we're going to take it from a little more casual to a little more competitive scenario. And we're doing scenario 1, Siege Ground, and as you can tell, there are 6 objectives. And everybody's picked secondaries. It's going to be a fun learning curve, but this is table 1, and we're going to come over here to table 2, where we've got our Orks fighting our Dark Angels. So Xenos versus Chaos again. Loyalists again. It's going to be great. The Imperium in great show, great force today. But yeah, here's their kind of Cities of Death board. But yeah, 2,000 points obviously, and we're going to learn about some ICC. It's putting to 2 hours and 45 minutes on the clock.
Here is the intro for the Dark Angels army. We have a Land Raider Crusader with all the shootiness. Then we have Asmodai back there with the Ancient and the Terminator armor back there with Belial the Warlord. Then we have a unit of Terminators. Then we have a Ravenwing Biker Squad there with some Scouts right up front. Then another unit of Terminators. Then we have the Captain in Gravis armor. And we have some Intercessors, and then we have some Hellblasters, and then we have just your good old tactical Space Marines. That's the army. All right, here's an intro for your Orc army for today. We have a battalion of Goth with your Warlord right there, the War Boss, with the Psyker there on the left, who is now a Warped with the jump and Warpath, and then the Psyker on the right is just a weird boy with Fist of Gork. And then you have a unit of 30 boys, another unit of 30 boys, and a unit of 10 boys. And then you also have a Pain Boy over here, gonna hopefully help out those Psykers. And then we get into a first for me, and again, apologize for all these non-painted as-is models as we kind of try something new. But we have a Bad Moons detachment here, another battalion, with another War Boss. And then we have a big mech with a custom force field, a big mech with a shock attack gun. Then we have a unit of 17 Gretchen and a unit of 20 Gretchen. And then we have a unit of 30 Shooter Boys. And then we have a Runt Herd trying to keep all those Gretchen in line. Then we have a unit of 10 Tank Busters with their 4 Bomb Squicks. And then we have a unit of 15 Ludas. There's a flash kit and some burners back there, but they're going to be Ludas today. And then we have our battle wagon with four guns and the Death Roller. There's your fantastic army. As we look at the deployment of the Orcs and the Dark Angels, we got some Bikers over here, we got some Terminators and some other stuff inside this Land Raider, and then that group over there next to the glasses are up in the Teleportarium. We got some Rangers, some Space Marines, and then we got the Scouts up here in the building taking cover because they're smart. We just have everything kind of piled in the center, and then we'll figure out where they're going to go. And then we got the battle wagon on the teleporter with some tank busters and a custom force field. End of turn 1. As the Dark Angels kind of moved up, and there was a Land Raider in the middle of the board. And then let's start with the shooting phase up here. These Scouts took out an Orc from right when they were in front of those Gretchen before. They took out an Orc, and this Land Raider wiped out a total of 17 boys from this group that in the turn they slid over here. So that's what happened for their turn. But then when the Orcs went, like I said, those Orcs slid over there with morale, even losing 17. It wasn't a thing, surrounded by boys, and took their leadership of number of models. These boys kind of moved over here and mobbed up. Oh, they did not mob up. Oh, I forgot to do that. Okay. And then the shock attack gun up here shot at this Land Raider. Got 11 strength, that's awesome, and then missed all 4 of my shots, so that was depressing. These 30 boys, shooter boys over here, did nick a wound off of one of those bikers. These boys with their slugga shot over there didn't do anything. Then we had what I was excited for, 15 Ludas getting ready to shoot at that Land Raider. Yeah, they missed all 15 shots, so that was terrible. D3 rolled a 2, so only got 1 shot each one. Then we did tried to do some magic here. Warpath, Fist of Gork, and to jump the Warlord / War Boss with the Killer Claw over here after a failed charge and a failed here we go. Spent a command point to reroll and successfully made it in there. And then 7 attacks is what he had, which turned into 8 because he is Goff with 1/6. Only 1 saved, so with the Killer Claw and 3 damage each was 21 wounds. A little bit more than the Land Raider could handle. However, he suffered 2 wounds in Overwatch, and when the Land Raider did explode, he suffered 2 more wounds. Luckily, it was only 2, so he's left there with 2. But when all these units jumped out, the Ancients made it, and the Asmodai made it out, but 1 Terminator did die in the struggle with all that Terminator armor trying to squeeze through the door. He got caught up in the explosion. So as we stand at the end of turn 1, victory points 1 for the Dark Angels and 6 for the Orks. End of turn 2 for the Dark Angels. Did some movement. Actually, they didn't move. They really didn't move. They didn't move. They didn't move. So what did move were these Terminators coming out of the Teleportarium. And they had the Deathwing Assault stratagem played. So they did all of the shooting. Shot up this entire unit of boys here between the 2 rounds. So basically, Deathwing Assault, shoot. Once you deploy from the Teleportarium, you can shoot as in the shooting phase. And then they got to shoot in the shooting phase. So that unit was wiped along with a couple more models from there. I think those 3 models there were done by these gentlemen over there. And then these gentlemen over here took out a boy from right there. And then these bikers shot up here to the Big Mac with shock attack gun. He only had 2 wounds to start, nicked a wound, and then nicked another wound, spent a command point to reroll my 3+ save, because I could only roll 2. So used that so that he didn't die. So he lived. But the big news is these scouts over here in this building rained fire down on the Warlord War Boss, and they nicked his last 2 wounds, so they slayed the Warlord for old school and took all 6 of his wounds total, so we had to add those back into his Kingslayer there. So we got him. So at the end of the top of the turn 2, that's where we stand. Let's get ready for Orks turn 2. End of Ork turn 2. Did some good stuff this turn. Got these boys around to get a bunch of them shooting at these Raven Wing bikers. Killed 1, nicked another wound off of there, so 2 total wounds, but hey, they're on bikes, they're tough. Then these Ludas did some serious damage. With all their shots, I rolled a 3 on the D3. Between the battle wagon that came down with the tank busters in there and the Ludas, I killed 9 of them, and then leadership of 8 with 9 of them died. The only one that could have run away did, so that was delightful. Did drop this down, like I said, and made the charge in here. Lost a wound in Overwatch, because, you know, pistols and tanks are deadly combination. But did wipe out 4 of the Assault Marines with that def roll up. 1 more died in the shooting phase somewhere. Can't remember where that was, but 1 died. And so yeah, they only lost 1 in morale, so they're down to 4 left in that unit. And as far as victory points go, we are end of 2. Orks are at 10. Dark Angels at 8. Tight game. End of turn 3. We'll summarize both the Dark Angels and the Orks here. Dark Angels, kind of these bikers pulled back from over there to kind of secure this objective and kind of regroup to come this way, and had this battle wagon that came out of the skies off the teleporter last turn. They did do a bunch of these, had some Terminators here that got into melee with these boys. 11 boys left, and he killed 10. Luckily, that one boy was left over from 6 inches, less than 6 inches from this unit of 29 boys. So he used their leadership to successfully stay alive and not run away. And then as we get into the Orc turn, that one boy with the Unstoppable Green Tide turned into these 30 boys. Well, now 29 because one died in Overwatch, failing a charge to these boys. But we did get a shot off, actually, from the shock attack gun into these Terminators. But it was magically saved with terribleness. I mean good, it was good, not really. But we did kill 3 of these intercessors here. We wiped out the unit of Hellblasters with the Death Rolla, and then we took out, I think, 4 more of the tactical Marines with the Death Rolla, because Death Rolla definitely rolls. And that's kind of where we stand. Failed a charge from the War Boss, failed a charge from the boys, but made the successful 2-inch charge from the Death Rolla. At the end of turn 3, we're sitting at, I believe it's 16-9 Orcs over the Dark Angels. End of the Dark Angels turn 4. Again, the bikes over here got as close as they could. I did a little bit of shooting with the -1 to hit. Didn't really knock any wounds off. The sergeant over here fell back so that the Master and Gravis Armor could get in here. Gravis Armor did a lot of damage between some shooting and some fighting. Nicked, I think, 10 wounds off of the battle wagon, so quite the effort over there. So that was well done. And then we had these Terminators, the Ancients, and these Intercessors all kind of piled in, charged in, shot, did some fighting, and killed 9 boys out of that unit, still hanging on with 20 left. And then he got in there and fought the War Boss, got 2 wounds off of him, and then with plus or minus 87 to hit him with his sword and his shroud, the War Boss nicked a couple more wounds off of him with D3 damage, so got 2 damage off of him. So that is where we stand at the end of the top of 4. Only 5 minutes left on my turn, so this is going to be a quick turn. Watch it. And here is the end of the battle. Due to time constraints, got about 75% done with the Orcs bottom of turn 4. But we did some stuff that rushed through, and I actually liked. If I could rush through every turn, maybe that works great. But we jumped the Ludas over here, and then they took out on I'm Gonna Die, or whatever his name is. But they only left him with 1 wound, but I was eventually, hopefully with more time, going to charge in there and with these guys hopefully nick that last wound off of them. This would have been a good battle against that guy, the Warlord, and so that would have been fun. It was fun though over here. The battle wagon dumped out the tank busters and the bomb squigs, and then moved on to the objective, and then the bomb squigs promptly scampered 8 inches over to a unit of bikers, the Ravenwing bikers that were over there with 3 total wounds, and they did a total of 10 wounds between the 4 of the bomb squigs that jumped over there. So it was magical, and so those bikes went poof, and so did the bomb squigs, but that's what they're for. So as we kind of ended the game before any charging or anything did round 4, we came up with a final score of, oh shoot, I didn't add it up. We got 3, 5, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 21 to 11. 21 to 11 victory points in favor of the Orcs.